Okay, welcome to Supply Chain 600 Seconds. Today I have with me Ted Lundström, Head of Global Logistics at Ovako. Please, Ted, can you tell us about yourself and what your responsibilities are at Ovako?
Absolutely. So my name is Ted Lundström. I work for Ovako AB, which is the mother company within the Ovako Group. So I work on a group level with our logistics services, mainly outbound logistics, but also on-site logistics. So my responsibility is both tender processes, our policies, how we work with the digital platforms, how we get material from our mills, basically in the Nordic countries to our customers worldwide. So it's quite a broad approach to mainly outbound logistics issues and challenges.
Yeah, I have mentioned that you work within the steel business, but can you tell us about it a little bit more? Because you're part of a large steel manufacturer, global company.
Absolutely, that's true. Since a couple of years back, we're part of the Nippon Steel Group. To be really correct in this, we are actually owned by Sanyo Steel, which is a company in Japan on the Tokyo stock market, but also owned through Sanyo Steel by Nippon Steel. And through this constellation, we are the third biggest steel producer in the world and the biggest steel producer within special steel. So the ones that are bigger than us are basically into more bulk steel. So we are really a really big player if we see to the whole group. And Ovako is basically the manufacturer in Europe constellation.
And of course, you have a lot of transportation, both regionally, locally, and globally, of steel. Now, today we're going to talk about the digitalization of the supply chain, and specifically about the transport digitalization. Can you tell us, give us an overall picture of how you work with digitalization around the transportation?
Definitely. I mean, basically what we have tried to do during the past years is to try to collect data and to structure data in a way that it becomes useful. When we're talking about digitalization, I think it's very important for us to also understand that it's just not making information into a digital format, which is basically the definition of digitalization, is making it into zeros and ones. But for us, it's very important to make it accessible also for further use. So that is what we have done and work within the group, not just in the logistics part, is to try to understand what kind of information is out there, how can we make it into a digital format that is accessible by other systems, and how can we allocate that data into something that can create value. I mean, we have a lot of information in different kind of office systems like Excel, Word, and Outlook. But in my opinion, that's not really a digitalization. Digitalization is something else where we can use this data in another way. So that is what we have done.
Can you give some practical examples of how you use the digital information to make the transportation more efficient and effective?
One very clear example of that is that how we use information that comes from our suppliers. We try to have it in one platform, in one place, and then allocate it to different kind of stakeholders within the company. A clear example of that is basically the loading departments at our mills that now can access data in real time. Before we had, in the past 3 years, or something like that, they have had to ask basically to receive data. And now we changed that so they receive data without having to ask for it and can plan from it.
might that be from the loading department's perspective? Is it volumes and destinations and things like that, or?
It's everything from rather simple data to see exactly who booked a transport. So if there's question around it, they can go directly to the right person to ask. It could be also information coming from our suppliers saying that we want to load at this and this time. It could be information regarding a specific shipment. So there's all kind of, from very simple basic information, making it accessible in a way that it takes less time to get it, to more advanced information like ETD information regarding which license plate number is on the truck, etc., etc. So it's all kind of information.
Mm. So what are you working on now? What's your vision, like in 2-3 years, something like that? What are you working on to achieve further within digitalization?
I think what we are trying to do is to basically improve the quality of the data, which is a challenge in itself, and try to further develop data into something that creates even more value. It could be to even more send this data to our customers, the consignees. It's not necessarily our customers, but it could be the consignee, but also different stakeholders within the company that are interested in this. So develop this and try to fine tune it to collect even more data and create more value from this, and basically move closer to the e-commerce. As when you order something on an e-platform, you as a business could receive the same kind of experience, seeing, okay, my material is booked for shipping, it's been loaded, it's at this point in the supply chain, etc., etc. So that's basically what we are trying to achieve.
Mm. And a transportation management system, a TMS, is a part of the digitalization of transport, of course. Can you describe what use you have of a TMS, basically? How does it help you in this process of digitalizing?
It's basically the spider in the whole system, sitting in between as a catalyst between us and the suppliers, customers, ERP system, invoicing system, etc. So we're trying to have that as the transformer of data between different parties to make it accessible to the ones that needs this kind of data. So that's the platform where we basically try to collect and transform the data.
As I understand it, you work a lot with digitalization, and it's really prioritized within Ovako. What do you hope to achieve by doing this?
I mean, the main objective for us is to go from less gut feeling, less subjective ideas on how reality is, to more objective facts on this is actually how it looks. And this is how to act, and we can also evaluate different decisions from a more structured and objective way to see that we are really aligned with what we are trying to achieve. So that's really important. It's also very important for us to have a good frequency in the data, to be as close to real-time data as possible, and not just looking 1 year back and saying, hey, this is the outcome of our work last year, because then it will be very difficult for us to steer our company in the right directions. We need to be more responsive to the development in the context that we are working in. So that's really important, the frequency in the data, and also go to more objective data to understand what we're actually doing and to make the appropriate actions according to that.
Very nice to speak to you, Ted, and thank you for a nice conversation about digitalizing transport data, mainly. Thank you.
Thank you.